Hey, welcome back to Turntable Guy. On the bench today we have a very nice Hitachi HT-550. This is a quartz lock. I believe it's a fully manual table. Correct. I guess we can find out. The complaint on this one is that it's quote-unquote not running properly. Not sure what that means. It could mean just about anything. I guess what we'll do is we'll just give it a quick spin up here and see what it's doing or not doing. I'm pretty sure this is another CEC manufactured table. Is there queuing on this thing? Oh, there it is. It's built into the cut here. So this must be a fully manual table. Oh, is that auto return? Okay, it's a semi-automatic turntable. Let's try that again. Ooh. Okay, this is definitely not quartz locking. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's spinning slow and it's jaggedy coming back. Let me grab a strobe here. See if this helps you. It'd be the on the strobe here. I know I use this quite a bit. On the strobe, there's two sets of markings, and the 60 hertz is on the inner, and the outer is the 50 hertz. So you should always be, if it turns out on camera, sometimes I've noticed on my videos that I can see the strobe, so I'm hoping you guys can see it too. So it's the inner ring is what you need to be looking at. Oh yeah, it's looks like it's quartz locks and then it shoots back. Let's just quickly listen to see what that sounds like. Something here. It's tough to find something that doesn't get hit by YouTube. Okay, we're just going to give this a test here, see what kind of sound we've got. I have a feeling it's going to sound horrible.
All right. I have been one.
Ooh! You hear that? Oh dear. God, I hope that's not some kind of quartz clock that's screwed up in this thing. That would be seriously unfortunate. Well, we'll start as we always do. We'll have a look. I'm going to clean these. This is the only electronic control on the whole table. There's no pitch controls to clean here anywhere. And because it's quartz locked, there's not going to be any speed controls anywhere. Oh, is it the motor? Oh, it's the motor, I think. Look at this. Barely moves. Oh, well, that's a good thing. Hopefully it just needs some lubrication. Because like I said, there's nothing really electronic on here other than this speed control. Let me unplug this. We might have to turn it upside down at some point here, but let's just see what's under this plate. There's got to be some kind of clamping device underneath to get this motor up. But look at this when I spin it. Watch this. You seeing that? That is undoubtedly why we're having this issue. Unless I can undo these 4 screws as well. I am going to pull the bottom off because I have not worked on one of these before. And I do not want to damage it by pulling up boards unnecessarily. Let's remove the head shell. I find it odd that it would be a lubrication issue because even a turntable such as this, I mean, of this age, unless the ball bearing fell out, you know, it would have some kind of lube in there, but you never know, right? Anyway, let's get it flipped over and see what we got here as far as to get this motor off. So we got the one plate. And something is preventing me from getting that that motor off. So it's got to be some kind of catch somewhere. You learn something new every time somebody brings you a model you haven't worked on before. I mean, they're all pretty similar, but there are obviously some serious differences between the brands. And wow, that is really heavy. Yeah, it looks like classic CEC. Caps all look decent. I don't see any electrolyte leaked out anywhere. No bulging on the capacitors. There are a couple trim pots here, potentiometers. They're probably for setting voltages, I'm thinking, for the quartz-lock. Don't want to mess with that yet, okay? This is probably what we want to get at right here. See if this releases the motor. Oh, there's a ball bearing right there. I wonder if it's sunk down. I think we're going to have to remove this plate here to get at, because we need to remove this as well. I really hate taking auto return parts apart. Just want to make sure there's nothing crazy going on here. That isn't. I'm going to do it gently. If I could just lift it off, that would be better. Okay, there's nothing particularly special about that part. It just goes in there. The grease is nice and pliable, which is, you know, rare. So just rest that gently there. And this looks like it just slides off, which is going to be great. So we don't have to worry about that either. The only thing we have to worry about is getting our hands all gummied. So it would stay in that position here. That's the run position where the notches are in the gear levers there. Right there. So we're just going to set that aside as well. Like I said, there's lots of really pliable grease on here. So the grease is like this. It's great. That is just like new. A lot of it's fallen off. I'm just going to put that back in there like that. And we'll just set that aside. Now we can pull off this plate. Looks like somebody's been throwing some oil down there. Okay, so my guess is that hopefully, does this ball bearing come out? My guess is we're going to have to release this E-clip here, and the motor should come out. Now I say should. There's your E-clip. Does seem to be in quite a bit of oil. I wonder if somebody tried to lubricate it from the top. And I'm pretty sure that this is a press fitting. I wonder if it slipped down, and that's what's preventing it. See, it's sitting, it's riding. The way it is right now, you can hear this. Listen here. It's rubbing on the top, right? So I'm wondering if this needs to get press fit further down. Where does this ride? This is just I think this is just a mechanical issue here. So that rides right about there. Right, that's as far down as that gear goes. And these two teeth need to intermesh with each other, right? Just got the ball bearing off. Definitely don't want to lose that. It's nice and shiny and clean. I'm going to put that somewhere super safe. I'm going to put it inside my solder tin. There. So it looks like the lubrication is mostly the bearing just riding on this. Probably a little bit of that black grease would help as well. But we need to get this off, and my guess is that when I pull down on this, if it's a press fit, so it should be riding right about there, but it's riding, it's sitting right down on the motor. That's the issue here. Okay, let's just put a little twisting force on this. I mean a little. Probably pop that down. There we go. It is a press fit. See, now I've got a lot more movement there. So it's just a matter of tugging on it to get it to come out. And that gear is going to pop off. Boy, that's tough to get out. But you can't put a screwdriver or any kind of thing metallic on here. That's where the bearing rides. That has to be ultra smooth. So it's just a matter of, and I can't pry from the other side because there is, you know, a PCB there. And we definitely do not want to damage that. The other option is to pull up on the gear with a pair of pliers. It's okay if you were to chew this up a little bit. This isn't really important. You want to make sure that you're not, you know, putting any kind of pliers or anything on this area. So let me get something. We'll just try a very gentle. We'll just get underneath it so we don't damage it. And we'll just try just a little bit of tension here. And we're just going to twist a little bit. Wow, that's tight. Oy vey. Okay, well, logic states that the further we press this down, what we need to do is we need to get that the motor platter off the PCB, right? So here's a motor platter right now. Here's the PCB. It's sitting on there. So when it's spinning, it's rubbing. So what we need to do is we need to get that just a little bit off, right? And when it's off, it will spin freely. So my guess is that if we press this all the way down, our gear here, I was hoping to remove the motor altogether and just maybe get some oil in here, but I don't think lubrication's the issue here. This is just a matter of this motor sitting too damn low. Or maybe there's there could be a part missing. There could be a washer on the other side that has been removed. Like, there's no way to know. And I'm wondering if the platter, rubbing against the PCB, I wonder if it's damaged it as well, right? Because there we go. I just got it. All right, so this is our bearing right here. So the question is, how do we get this motor off? And I think this thing just sits flat. Honestly, there's teeth here as well. So I think what we'll do is we'll clean this, we'll lubricate in here a little bit. I'm going to use a little bit of a thicker lube just because this seems like it's just going to sink down. It's kind of like a Techniques mechanism, a direct drive, actually, the way it sits. So let's clean that out. This is different. I have not seen one of these, and I'm learning as we go here. And stuff like this is never in the service manual, right? Service manual does not tell you how to remove, a spindle or anything like that to service it, right? So we're going to clean that up. And then let's dry it up too. Make sure that's nice and lubed. And I think what we'll do is we'll just have a quick look at the actual motor to see if this magnet here has damaged the PCB at all. I'm hoping it hasn't, but you never know, right? See what it's doing? It's sitting flat on this, right? And you can see the rub marks here, right? You can see where it's been rubbing, and it's actually rubbed right through there, right? So okay. I think all we've got a press fit situation here. Maybe somebody's ooh, look what I did. Somebody has, where's that? Has maybe pushed down at one point, grabbed the platter, maybe slammed down on it, and pushed the motor down flat against the PCB. I'm not 100% sure, but something's given way, right? So, excuse my cleaning. Heat grease. All right, so we should be okay. I'm going to use a thicker oil here. So I'm going to use, actually, I'm not going to use a thicker oil. I'm thinking a la Techniques here. I think we'll just use a 3-in-1 here. Strong magnets. So we'll just put a little bit of oil around these. And we'll put a little bit in here. We'll go down, and then we'll slap this back in. See how it clamps down? So what we'll do now is we'll grab our gear, and what we'll do is we'll fit it back into position, and it's gonna fight us a little bit here. We can tap it a little bit to get it going. And just keep tapping it until it thinking here, I need to get, I wonder if it'll go down any further. Maybe a little more horsepower. I'm holding it on the other side here, and I'm just going to gently, very gently, and it's not pushing it up. Kind of get the feeling like there's a washer missing on the other side. Okay, we're going to pause here while I have a look at the service manual and see if there's actually a part missing. Okay guys, this is what I'm thinking here. The service manual had nothing, by the way, as usually expected. This has got nothing to do with this gear. This gear will not, you don't want this gear rubbing against this, so the height of this means nothing. The only thing that matters here is the height of this total spindle plus the ball bearing and where it rides, okay, on this plate. All right, so as it's riding in here, okay, the height of here to here has to be higher than the motor. Now, one thing I've noticed here is when I was unscrewing it, I'm just going to put that aside, and I put this plate back on here, okay? And one thing I've noticed, when I line up that hole there, okay, and when I put this screw in, okay, it's nice and tight. When I put this screw in, it's stripped. So what is happening here, okay, is when this motor magnet comes up through, it's actually lifting this plate. It's dropping it down and the motor's collapsing. That's the only thing I can think of here, right? So I'm just going to put it through. Now I've got it as flat as it goes. You see, it just spins forever, right? So the force of this magnet is very strong. It's going to pull up, and my guess it's just going to lift this this bearing support here just a little bit, okay, that it's collapsing and the whole magnet is falling on the motor. So I'm just going to pop it through here to see if my theory, see, it's good there. If I hold this down, it's perfect. As soon as I let go of that screw, it starts rubbing. So we've got a stripped screw. And that is it. That is the only problem with this whole turntable, is that this screw is stripped. Look, you can even move it with my finger. So we're going to have to see if we can fix that. See, look, I removed this one screw. This should be tight, right? See how loose this is? It's not good. It's collapsing. And the tolerance between that magnet and that PCB is very, very thin, right? So this is stripped. So what do we do? That is the question. Do we attempt to pull this plate and maybe get a nut and bolt on there? That means removing this entire assembly, removing this, removing the motor board to get at this plate. For one stripped screw, this is going to be a bit of a nightmare. I think what I'm hoping I can do here is, I don't want to remove this. Maybe if we can just lift this to get this out, that would be kind of ideal. I don't know what these two screws do. I'm going to assess this a little bit more and get a plan of attack, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to lift this plate. I've removed these two screws here just so I can kind of get this out of the way. This is a 7/32 nut driver. It's the only size that actually works. 5mm was too small and 6mm was too big. So we just want to release these so we can pull the motor down, the motor board. Because what I'm thinking of doing is getting a screw and nut through there to hold it. I really don't want to touch the auto return mechanism at all. But I'm not sure if I can get this to come out without moving this. I'm hoping I can. Let's see here. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it without removing that. Maybe. Aha! There we go. Oh dear. Looks like we are going to have to lift this. Okay. This is a lot of disassembly. So we're going to take off these 4 screws and lift this board. The beautiful thing about filming this kind of stuff is that if for some reason I forget where the hell something goes, I can just go back and watch the video. And that's why I recommend that if you are working on a turntable or any kind of electronic piece or anything at all, take some pictures and document where you removed certain screws and what order parts go in. Because as you can see, just to get at that one freaking bolt hole, it's turning out to be a bit of a chore. So the grounding screw is here. We got a little star washer. This might not be... Yeah, maybe what these 2 screws are. And they are painted. They're definitely holding something there. Can't really tell what the hell they're doing. They're sitting on something. They're not touching though. I gotta get in there. There's just no way. The other option is to force, you know, a big ugly screw in the hole. and make some dirty, ugly threads. But I don't even know if I have anything that small. So I'm going to continue on with this. And I'm going to lift these two screws here, which are painted, and there is paint inside, which is not allowing me to get my screwdriver in there. And don't forget, these aren't really Phillips screws. They're JIS screws, right? So, I mean, a Phillips screwdriver will work, but it helps if you have a JIS driver. It's just a better fitment. I think that's, correct me if I'm wrong, Japanese industrial standard is what I'm guessing. They were painted for a reason. I really can't tell you why. Let's see if it separates now. Still doesn't separate. There's a ton of windings in here, eh? It's just I don't know if it would be this bearing cap, maybe? No. Well, I have a bad feeling we're going to have to go with the dirty, ugly method here. But there's something else I'm going to do. I'm going to, I mean, the screw was grabbing, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back. That's number one. Put these screws back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up a little bit of epoxy, like JB Weld or something like that. And I am going to put a little JB Weld in that hole. We have to get this back underneath first. All right, let me button this up and we'll be right back. Okay, for you guys that were screaming at the camera, turntable guy, you forgot to put the screws on the back side of the motor board. I did that. So, it reminds me of one of my favorite YouTube personalities, Eric the Car Guy. If you've never seen his channel, he's a mechanic, an ex-Honda Acura mechanic, who's now a YouTuber, and he's my favorite mechanic on YouTube. He always has been, he always will be, and he does a great impersonation of, you know, YouTube viewers screaming at the camera at him, and he goes, Eric, you forgot to do this, or you forgot to do that. So it kind of resonates with me when I forget to do something. I wonder if people go, hey, the guy forgot to put the screw in. So that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, I got this all buttoned back up here, and what I've done here, I think it's going to work. We're going to put the motor back. I'm not going to mix up any JB Weld or anything like that. I'm going to go with actual screws. As soon as I find what the hell I did with the plate, here it is. I've got a screw here. It's a computer chassis screw, and the threads are just a smidge thicker than what was in here. And I've run it down a couple times now, and I've cut some new threads, and I've got good solid connection. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be going with just a screw. At least we're going to try it first and see if it goes. I would really prefer to have a screw through there, or a screw come up through here and put a nut on it. But, you know, unfortunately, the motor's not being very very helpful. So let's put our magnet back in, and we'll lubricate it up again, and then we'll put our gear on where it's supposed to be. We'll do the same thing we did last time. Put a drop of oil there, and we'll put a drop on the ball bearing as well. And we'll feed her through, just like that. And we'll grab our gear and get that started. Remember, you got to hold it. And you know what I'm going to do here? I think I'm going to put this kind of back. That way I've got an idea how far down this gear's got to go. So we're definitely going to want it a little bit, definitely a lot lower than that. It's probably going to have to sit around here. So let's give that a whack. The back end of the screwdriver so I don't damage it. Let's say right about there, hopefully. How's that? It's about halfway. Looks good. Yep, that's right where we want it, because there's the trip. This is the trip for the auto return right here, and it's this little jagged piece here. It touches this and trips the auto return, so we're good. So right there is where we want to be. And that is sitting down all the way. No, it is not sitting down all the way. Now it is. Good. And I'm just going to take a little bit of that grease, this excess grease here. I'm just going to put it inside here, right there. Just like that. Put our bearing cap back on. Oh, sorry, got to put that down first. Now put our bearing cap back down. Tricky, eh? So when we tighten this down now, that should push that motor up. So we know that the threads are good on this side. I'm not going to tighten it all the way. Get our new screw. Good screwdriver to do this. And we'll screw that down. Oh yes. Screw this down. It's really soft metal, eh? That's the problem. Let's see. Is it spinning? It's spinning. I know you can't see it. Oh, it's activating the auto return. There we go. Beauty. That's it. Now, we got this weird thing here. Remember that? I forgot another thing, folks. Damn, I'm going to have to take off the bloody thing again. I really don't want to keep removing that screw, but like I said, you're learning with me. We have to put that back on. Shit, I really didn't want to have to take these out again. Every time you take them out, you're probably chiseling away a little bit at the screw, right? So, especially this one here. Okay, just a little pause there. I had to get this gear down off camera. It's just too hard. I had to get it right to the point where this E-clip goes in. It's really hard to do. So I'm just going to get this E-clip in here before it gets lost. so little room here, and the motor keeps shooting down, as you can hear, right? So there we go. Now we're good. All right, another drop of oil in here. The ball bearing's sitting in here, by the way, and it's got grease on it. Just put a little bit of oil for there. And you can actually drop a little bit of oil in the bearing oil, just like this, like a technique, say. And that will work its way in. And now we can put our bearing back. Here's our bearing pit. There's a little indentation where the bearing sits against there. It's got to ride right in that indentation. And it is right there. And there's got to be enough friction, and just enough clearance to get rid of the friction that we're experiencing. Don't want to tighten these down unevenly. Kind of bring them down a little bit at a time here. Let's see. There we go. It's a spinning. Oh God, did I forget to do something again? No. There we go. This has been one of those repairs where not everything goes wrong, but okay, so this goes in here just like that. Nothing special there. That's the motor switch. That must be the off position there. Tighten this down. There. It's on a spring too. And I think that's it. I do want to activate the auto return here. Just make sure she's spinning okay. There we go. It's working through the gears nicely. And now it stops. Okay. Well, before we button up the bottom, let's just do a real quick test. La, 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 la. Like that. I'm not going to put this motor plate on just yet. See how it's spinning now? Don't hear any friction. Let's see. What do you know? We have quartz-lock. Look at that. She'd be fixed, my friends. All that from a stripped screw. That's frustrating. Very frustrating. What's really frustrating is that this may collapse again. I mean, it's a lot of weight. That platter is very heavy, right? I'm hoping it doesn't, but you know, you really can't guarantee it. And you know, I repair like this, I'll tell the owner, you know, you've got a stripped screw, and this is what I've done. Hopefully it lasts, but there's no guarantees. I mean, we can do a more permanent repair, but I'd rather not, you know, be gluing things and making it impossible to repair at a later date. What I'd really like to do is get a bolt in there, but getting that motor apart is impossible. So anyway, I think that's as far as we can go with this one. I am just going to do the usual maintenance items on it. I'm going to hit the speed selector switch with a little bit of contact cleaner. Make sure that's running good. There's no pitch controls again, so I can't do anything there. We'll set up the arm, clean the stylus, and that will be the end of this one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. That was a little bit different. Definitely something, not even a mechanical issue with the turntable, just a physical problem that has resulted in the turntable malfunctioning. So anyway, thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate your time, and we will catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.